I love in fantasy when it's like King Galamir the mighty golden eagle and his most trusted advisor who would never betray him, Gruelworm Blood-Eye the treacherous. When my sister and I were kids, we had this one action figure who was actually a brutalized Batman doll without his cape. The dog chewed half his head too, who we dubbed Evil Chancellor Traytor. The idea was that in the fictional society of our toys, Chancellor just came with the word evil in front of it, as a matter of ancient tradition, like grand or high or something along those lines. Anyway, the running gag was that the king, an old Power Rangers knockoff doll, had absolute and unwavering faith in evil Chancellor Traytor, who basically comported himself like a mix between Grima Wormtongue and Jafar from the Aladdin movies. Everyone was always sure that evil Chancellor Traytor had something to do with the nefarious scheme of the day. The dude even carried around a poisoned knife called the Kingslayer. The additional twist on the joke, though, was that he never was behind anything. The king was actually right. Evil Chancellor Traytor was the most devoted civil servant in the entire action figure dystopia. He spent his nights working on writing up new legislature to ensure that broken toys had access to mobility devices, was always on the lookout to acquire new shoeboxes for expanding city infrastructure, and drafted a proposal that once got half the settlement in my sister and I's closet moved to the upper shelf, so that vulnerable toys were less likely to be snatched up by the dog. The knife, as it turned out, was as symbolic as the evil in his name. See, action figure dystopia had a long history of corrupted monarchs getting too big for their thrones and exploiting the underclasses. The job of the evil chancellor was to always remain vigilant and loyally serve a good ruler, or if the regents should become a despot, to slay them on behalf of the people. But since killing the king would be a terrible crime, the evil chancellor had to be the kind of person who would willingly die to spare the people from the plight of a wicked leader, because the murder would be pinned on them, in order to keep the machinery of politics working as smoothly as ever. Anyway, evil Chancellor Traytor had a diary, in which my sister and I would take turns writing out the most over-the-top good shit he'd done behind the scenes, usually after everyone else had finished talking shit about him. I don't know why, but we got the biggest kick out of being like, Barbie with the unfortunate haircut. Oh, that evil Chancellor Traytor! Why can't the king see how wicked he is? Charmander from the vending machine. Char! Jurassic Park toy of Jeff Goldblum with disturbingly realistic face. At least if someone puts a knife in the king's back, we'll know where to look. Evil Chancellor Traytor's diary. Today I was feeding ducks at the park when I noticed another legless action figure sitting by the benches. I put $100 into his bag while he wasn't looking. I really need to increase budgeting to the medical treatment centers. If only we had enough glue, I think we would see far fewer toys trying to get by without limbs. Insert iconic evil laugh. Mwahahaha. Anyway, evil Chancellor Traytor eventually fell victim to one of my mom's cleaning sprees, and she decided he was too busted up to keep and tossed him out. My little brother, who tended to follow my sister and I's games like he was watching a daily soap opera, cried so hard that we had to do a special episode where one of the toys found the evil Chancellor's diary, and so he got a big, huge memorial, and the king threw himself into the empty grave and then ordered the toys driving the toy bulldozer to bury him so that Traytor's grave would have a body. This seemed very important for some reason. And then we had the quest for a new king. Somehow or another, that ended up being a giant rubber snake called Tyrant King Cobra. Closes tab, shuts off computer, and proceeds to have the best day ever just by knowing this exists. I will always reblog Evil Chancellor Traytor.